Afternoon. Afternoon, everybody. Hope you are well. Hope you had a good weekend. Happy Monday. Who's in the room today? Kat, how are you? Rohan, how you doing, buddy? Darren, Rohit, Ian, hope you're all well and had a nice weekend. Lovely here in Dubai today. You'll probably make some of you tell you, or should I say, probably annoy some of you by saying this morning was the first morning I went outside, and I normally have my lemon and ginger tea, and it was actually quite chilly for once, so I had to put a t-shirt on, would you believe? But yeah, lovely weather here. I'm sure some of you in the UK will be like, oh, shop, Ryan, it's -4. But I think it's snowing, by the way. I think it seems to be snowing in a few places. I know Derby, my girlfriend's from Derby. Some lovely pictures there. But anyway, that is by the by. So market is today, hey Sly, COVID, right? COVID is dictating this market. And I think irrespective of what fundamental news comes out this week, I think COVID will certainly dictate this market. You know, the Omicron, whatever it's called, that was South Africa, or the south of Africa, obviously causing this fall in the stock market over Friday. Now, the report, obviously, firstly, markets don't like uncertainty, right? We all know that. Markets don't like uncertainty. That's why the flocks to safe havens happened. JPY, Swiss strength. However, what I was reading this morning was I think a doctor came out of South Africa saying the symptoms of Omicron, let me know if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I think it's Omicron, is quite mild, which is a good sign, not just market-wise, but, you know, ethically-wise and all that kind of stuff. We don't want anything horrible to happen going through what we have the last 2 years or so. But it's still uncertain, right? So unless there is more data, a little bit of time to get more data on this new strain, until then, I think this market probably continues to fall. Now, in my perspective, I don't know why, but I have a sneaky suspicion, because we've seen this market rally time and time again, is with these early reports coming out about this new variant, I honestly would not be surprised if this rallies from here. As we've seen over the past 2 years or so, that markets have continued to rally. However, I've got to get my personal bias, because I'm a technical trader, right, out of my head. And, you know, what the charts are telling me is this was pullback for continuation to the downside. Now, markets, I mean, we know markets fall a lot quicker than they rise. And we cannot discount, irrespective of what reports are coming out right now about this new variant, that this is a bearish bar, right? And a significant bearish bar. So that's why we saw strength in the Swiss. That's why I think possibly, if, you know, we're at the point where Mondays are sometimes quiet, but maybe today won't be the case. But we're at the point where we could see that continuation coming, because we've had that decent pullback. However, we've had a decent gap to the upside in this SPX. So we are in between these moving averages. From a technical perspective, maybe we come back and retest this area. Maybe we already have. For continuation to the downside, in which case risk off continues, or we wait for a potential 20-period catch-up and then continue. So, yeah, let's wait and see. I mean, it's in the middle of a few things, but it's uncertain. And with that uncertainty, the bias has got to be to the downside, looking at entries into buying the yen, into buying the Swiss against those commodity currencies still make the most sense to me. COVID makes the market uncomfortable. Yeah, we thought it was gone, right? We thought it was gone. And anyway, it's come back. But again, we've had a few of these instances, right, where the variants have turned out, and I hope this is the same again, have turned out to be, okay, we're okay. You know, it's not more deadly. It's not nothing like that. And hopefully it's the same again. Which is why my bias is like, these early reports, they look quite good. Let's see. Nice, you lived in Dubai for years. Oh, did you, Sean? Nice, yeah. I've been here for 30 years now, I think. 30 years. For a long time. It's kind of like my home. Hey, Remy. Hi, mate. Hope you're well. Okay, let's go into the dollar. The dollar, there's not much on my watch list today. We will do actually, before I go into that, we'll do the SPX, or we'll do the $50 competition in this SPX, because I think it's quite interesting, because I think it can go either way this week. Will it rally? Will it fall down? So get your entries in for Friday if you are new. It's just a little fun competition we do every Monday. Predict the price of a certain index, equity, whatever it is, Forex, whatever it is. The closest to that price wins $50 in cash on Friday. So for me, I'm going to say this falls, okay? Because this is what the daily is telling me. So I think maybe we have a day or two here of consolidation, and then I think we may have a decent drop. So if we say here Monday, somewhere down here, I'm going to say 4,500. 4,500. I'm going to say 4,501. There's my entry. Get yours in the chat. I will add them all up. If you're watching this on catch up, put your answers down below. Remember, it has to be in today, or else it's unfair on anyone else. Okay, dollar. Dollar again in the same kind of position. Normally, you'd expect this dollar to have pushed on that SPX falling. That's what we've seen post-COVID. Dollar, stocks fall, dollar rises. But we're not getting that now. And on this daily chart, this for me is signaling at the moment dollar pullback. So counter trend, yeah, looks not bad for maybe entries into this dollar if we're coming down for a possible complex corrective. These dollar pairs, the DXY does normally, not all the time, like that 50% pullback. So maybe the best case scenario for me, or probably the highest probability of success for this dollar, would be look to entries around that 50% zone in this DXY. We have to remember where we've come from, right? This is a bearish bar, but I think this is your best bet, going with that longer term trend, buying the dollar. Uncertainty, I think that's probably your best bet. We could see some loss of momentum here, as we're seeing on these smaller time frames, where this looks very similar to impulse corrective, a break underneath this zone for continuation in that counter trend dollar on that pullback. But I would just be cautious of that because of where we are fundamentally, where we are within this trend. This could easily rally from here, but I would say that's my bias. Back to that 20 continuation longs in the DXY. It's an awesome place. Yeah, I mean, it's lovely now, Sean. Oh, it's lovely now. I love it. I love it for 6 months of the year, and then it's just horrible for 6 months of the year. So hopefully, fingers crossed, nothing happens over the next couple of months. But I'd like to be in Spain next summer for a few months just to get out the heat. But yeah, now it's lovely. Okay, the main one I'm looking at today. Actually, before I get into that, because somebody asked me about USD CAD, and a good question here on an ABC. So a guy on Instagram was looking at trading an ABC as an individual strategy, and you can absolutely do that. So if we look at USD CAD here, in this section on the 4 hour, I don't know if he's watching, Dinesh, but notice we've got our ABC here from this uptrend, ABC. But not only that, you've also got your, you get an ABC, but you also get an ABC 1, 2. So we've got our A, B, C, 1, 2, push on from here. So he's also asking about entries, and notice how there's increasing volume coming in here. So within our ABC, I know some of you know this, but I'm going to go through this again. There's multiple different entries. Okay, so if you've got your pullback, let's say ABC, let's go ABC 1, 2, just for example, okay? So you can get your first entry, your more conservative entries, is a breaks above the high. Your second entries, which is one that I really like, is breaks of B wave here. A third entry is on your C wave. This is what I use for my breakout retest, an entry on C wave here, ideally with increasing volume, as we're seeing with this USD CAD. And a fourth entry on this ABC is within that ABC 1, 2, is a break above this section here. So within this USD CAD, it's a break above here, one break above here, stops underneath the low for movement to the upside. So that's a really nice example of a good ABC that includes that 1, 2. And look at the result of that. So I don't know if he's in here, but yeah, that's a great example of exactly what I like to see. And notice where it came. Okay, it came on tagging that resistance zone, coming back, a slight little reload, and push, off we go on this uptrend. So Yeah, good example there. Good example. Okay, I'll get all your answers in. Syed 4244. Okay, I'll get them all in for Friday. Okay, so the only one, let me know if you guys want me to look at anything, but the only one I'm really interested in today, if we look at this is my watch list here, and it is a Monday, remember? There's not much on it. So this is the only real one that I like. We're getting a push through this area. Okay, if you look at the USD CAD on this 30-minute time frame, big V reversal here, nice pullback from this impulse called a V reversal corrective, push through this area, looking at retest. Now, with how this is moving at this moment, we're not really getting a pullback, but we are getting potential price acceptance. Now, I don't really want this to push down. I'd rather from this area here, it push up and then give us a proper retest. So if this does come down, obviously I can't take it. But the reason why I do like it is if you look again at the higher time frames, that higher time frame confluence, this is nice. You know, this is a nice healthy trend. There's nothing there. There's no extension. There's no climactics. Nice little pullback, push on, reload back to that 20, slight fake out, good hammer bar on that 20 and pushing through. So this is great. This is nice. This is nice. I really like that. If we look at the daily, broken structure here. Again, that little reload, making markets healthy for movement to the upside. A few days of consolidation, no massive climactics for continuation on that USD Hong Kong dollar to the upside. And to be honest, I really like this pair. I mean, you guys know I like my exotics, but it's probably not on my top 3, but it's certainly in my top 5. So if I can get a push on, you know, this could have been your, technically, not a retest I would have liked, but technically your breakout retest. But price action is just getting a little bit messy at this area. However, we just have to wait and see. We just have to wait and see what that does. Then we'll see Ryan live from Spain next summer. Yeah, hopefully, Rohit, that would be lovely. Hopefully. Darren, can we take a look at NZD JPY for the short sides? Of course I can, Darren. Also, the last thing, I completely forgot to switch off the Black Friday offer. So I've just said I'm going to do it for another hour. So if you're interested in that, links are above and down below. If you're interested in getting that, 25% off. That is not going to happen a lot. NZD/JPY to the short side, yes, that absolutely has to be your bias. You know, but the one thing I would say, Darren, is we've had the move, right? We've had the move, and this is why, and the golden 20 is great. You're waiting for this to digest now, and we're in pullback mode. You know, we're in pullback mode, so this is where the patience comes in, right? This is where the patience, if you're in it, then you'd be looking here at a new swing. The bias is still down. The bias is this. Yep, completely agree. But you've got to find a reason to enter now. If some negative news comes out about the variant, this will go out with technicals and this will fall. Okay, so just remember that the SPX will fall as well. However, yeah, I think selling the CAD yen and a pullback makes sense. Look at those fib zones. Look for volume coming in. Look for a reason to enter. Taking that to the downside. Oil's taking a hit as well, which negatively affects the. I thought we were talking CAD yen. Sorry, forget about that then. But yeah, anything New Zealand, Aussie, CAD against the yen, look for opportunities to sell it. So, for example, look at New Zealand then on the 4-hour. If we just transfer over to CAD yen, they're all kind of similar. Okay, remember it is a Monday. It is a Monday. It's all very similar. So your better entries, I would just be worried if you're taking shorts here, if it does come down, bearing in mind if there's no negative fundamental news, you could be caught in a fake, because this is where you get your fakes, when moves aren't really digested to move that to the downside. So yeah, look for this continuation, I'd say. On any of those pairs, like I said, look for selling those commodities against the risk-off assets. MJ, hey Ryan, love the content. Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. Could you please look at gold and GU? Of course I will. MJ. Michael Jackson. Gold. Let's have a look at gold. Now, gold's a funny one, right? Because you're thinking when you're seeing all this stuff to come out, you're thinking safe haven, gold should rise. No? Am I wrong in thinking that? But I thought it might be a decent play. It's not really turned out that way. So, we're getting this strange price action in gold. I think, technicals are telling you to sell gold. You have to get out your bias. We have a slight fake out to the downside here on the 4-hour. A bit of a V reversal. So if you get something like this, if I move my level here, if you get something like this in gold, it might not look too bad to the downside. That's going with that trend on the daily as well. Now, if the daily closes like this, could be a decent bullish sign on that 200, but I still think we have come from here. So we could be in that range bound correcting through time rather than through price for continuation to the downside. I don't like fundamentally the idea of selling gold, but that's what it's telling you to do. That's what the chart is telling you to do. So, if you're looking at selling it on these smaller time frames, you're looking for a reason to enter kind of roughly where it is. If we're talking impulse corrective, because this, for me, is digested enough. So you could be in, I know we've got a wick to the downside here, but you could be in your complex for continuation. I just have a feeling that gold may rise a bit on this fundamental stuff. I just have a feeling, but it's strange, no? Strange, I think. So what would my bias be? My bias would be that this. If you get a setup that looks like this on gold to continue to the downside, going with that trend, that would look good. Obviously, that's going to take some time to develop. On smaller time frames, if you get a reason to short it here, which it doesn't look like it's giving you, then go short. But you've broken kind of structure here, and if we look at it in detail on these smaller time frames, I'm presuming what you're seeing is some bullish price action, right? Look at that. You could look at this. Break above that neckline. It looks pretty good for movement to the upside. So I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't be comfortable with having a short bias on gold. I would rather buy it, but the technicals are telling me to sell it. So it's kind of I'll sit on the fence. If I had to say intraday, look for maybe a retest of that area. Look for some bullish pressure here for continuation on gold for that kind of change in trend. But let's see. Can you please update us on the FTMO? Yeah, so I can't do anything with my FTMO. I took the risk last week. This finishes on Wednesday. So you can see here, I've not done anything else. I'm on 200, 101. I've had no setups anyway, so thankfully there's been nothing that's kind of given me a bit like, oh, should I take it? Should I not take it to get maybe a little bit of upward movement? But yeah, I just start this again on Wednesday, Ian. But also it's like, well, do I start it on the 2nd of December? Because, there's Christmas coming up, there's New Year's, there is that holidays within that 30 days. Now, this is important, is that FTMO, if you tell them, they can freeze your account for, let's say a 1 or 2 week over Christmas before moving, starting it back up again. So I have to decide what I want to do. If I see some really nice setups early part of December, then maybe I start it and freeze it, but we'll have to wait and see. So basically, I've done nothing with it, mate. Done nothing. Okay, GU. Sorry, I'm just going through them all. GU. If you like the stream, guys, it would help me out if you drop a like. Try to hit the 25, 30 likes would be lovely. Trying to hit that 1,000 subs by Christmas. I'm kind of falling off a little bit, getting a bit lazy. But I appreciate everyone subscribing, by the way, and liking the streams. It's all very nice. But if you can like the stream. Thank you. Okay, pound dollar with dollar in that pullback mode. It still technically looks like this from this move to the downside, depending if we're breaking out of this structure for a slight trend change. Look at this. You could look at that on the pound USD. Breaking out of this area would look decent for movement to the upside. If we're getting that pullback in the DXY, you could get a few days of daily pullback, let's say, on this chart. So, maybe you're getting some bottoming structure from this move. You've got your battle bar here. That's a stone cold battle bar, doji bar on high volume. Battle between buyers and sellers. And maybe the buyer is going to start to take control before, I think, continuation to the downside. So, That actually doesn't look too bad, you know. Look at that. Who asked about GU? MJ. So here, I mean, this is the problem with counter trend, right? Is because you've got bloody 200s in the way, which is quite annoying. But you doesn't look too bad. You've got your confluence there with your daily. You've got your confluence there with your batter bar and pushing on. You've got your confluence there with your 4 hour. Remember, this is for counter trend, so you always need that confluence. And there you have it for me, breaking above that 20 now, breaking above that channel. So there is obviously the argument that is counter trend. So there's going to be arguments for buy and sell positions, but there's enough there to potentially take that to the upside on maybe a breakout retest. If you see some volume coming in on that break from this nice little wedging structure here, pushing through some bullish bars here on the hourly, 20 period curling up. The only issue is it is counter trend, so you're going to have barriers for that moving to the upside. But as a potential trade on a Monday, I don't mind that idea. I don't mind that idea at all. Stops underneath there, or again, like I said, the safe option is looking for a breakout retest, but you do have that 200 in the way. But you might get one-to-one, your one-to-one risk reward if you're getting a candle, let's say like a hammer, before you tag that 200, in which case it's a winning trade, albeit it might come back down, if that makes sense. So yeah, I actually don't mind that. I don't mind that. GU, MJ. Spencer, sorry, I'm just going to go through them all. Euro NZD, Sly FX. Euro NZD. Has anybody been trading this morning? Did anybody catch the moves on Friday, by the way? Did anybody make some money on Friday from it? I missed a entry in Aussie Swiss, almost. Euro NZD, I was looking at shorts on this, but it didn't quite, it just kind of kept pushing and kept pushing and kept pushing. So it looks to be, at the moment, it's not falling off, right, from that extension. It is coming down, but it looks to be a pullback for a movement to the upside. Now, do I like the idea of buying this now? Absolutely not. I wouldn't be buying it from this climactic move. I'd be waiting for a harder reset here for continuation, making this trend a bit healthier. Because for me, again, this depends on what happens with COVID, is you want things to happen like this. I just can't see that happening again, and maybe I'm completely wrong. But I would be waiting for this, very similar to most of the CAD, the yen pairs and the Swiss pairs, waiting for it to digest a wee bit before movement to the upside. But it doesn't look too bad on that hourly move from this corrective. I just don't like where it is on higher time frames, and that for me is very important, where these higher time frames are, Sly, to be honest. Bitcoin. I talked about Bitcoin this morning. Bitcoin is kind of similar to GU, it's kind of similar to a lot of pairs, where we're in this counter trend environment, but there's arguments for this going long. What I was saying this morning on my RTFX stream, link in the description, is you're maybe getting a smaller loss of momentum, which could mean a few things. Is that we could be losing momentum, sellers could be losing momentum to the downside for continuation and movement to the upside, or it could be for a harder reset before movement to the downside. So it's not very nice price action on this daily. But what I would say on this 4 hour is this is decent. This is a decent push. We're coming back from this area. We had a slight fake out, you would say, to the downside here. Again, talking about digestion. This is where fake outs occur. I know it's Bitcoin. That moves aren't really digested yet. Breaking out of this possible trend line. Maybe something like this for a counter trend on Bitcoin, or trend continuation. If we look at the longer time frame view, maybe we're in this. Maybe we're in this. Buy it on dips. I don't think it's a bad time to buy it, to be honest. I don't think it's a bad time to buy Bitcoin. But, you can dollar cost average, so you can buy here. If it does come back down, buy again. I actually want Bitcoin to fall a lot longer, but I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't see, the biggest thing here is, you've maybe got a reason to enter here, along with this impulse, loss of momentum, harder reset. You don't really have that at the moment. I don't think you have that reason to enter on this daily time frame. So that's the only worrying thing about it. But in terms of investing wise or long term wise, yeah, buy on a dip. Absolutely. John, how you doing, buddy? Looks like a good day for the markets to knock us out. Yeah, so I'm staying out. It's a good plan, John. Keep your powder dry. Keep your powder dry. Guys, do you like this live? Oh, thank you, Rohit, mate. Yeah, if we can get to 30 likes, that would be great. Until they know if COVID is scary. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the main thing, right? It's uncertain. They need to know what this mutation or what this new variant actually does to people. And hopefully, touch wood, it's nae bad, as they'd say in Scotland. Preservation time, yeah. And one of the guys in the group, Marmouche, I've said this a few times, but he was saying about his results 2 weeks ago and the fact that on a Monday, he came in, because Mondays are quite difficult. Certainly when you've done 2 days, you've not traded, you're excited to get back, and you want to take a trade on Monday, but we know Mondays aren't the best for trading. So what he kind of had like a cup with handle pattern for his trading. So he got excited on a Monday and say, this is a Monday here, right? Account went down because he's taking silly trades, and then it's come back up. So you're fighting what you're doing on a Monday just to kind of break even. So just understand that sometimes capital protection is the number one thing, you know? It's not about how much money you make. It's sometimes about how much money you don't lose. We want to be in this market for the long term, right? You know, if we trade that we want to be a millionaire next week, you're going to be broke probably in a few months. If you trade, you know, I've done 20% this year, and I'm very happy with that. I don't know where it's going. I can bring it. I'll show it on Wednesday or something. But perfectly happy with that, you know, because I know if I continue to do the things I'm doing, in a couple of years' time, I'll be, you know, on a yacht somewhere. But it's just about doing the right things, you know. Slow and steady wins the race. You try to do it too quickly, you try to do it too fast, you try and force it, you ain't going to be in the markets, unfortunately. And that's my opinion. Aussie dollar, Spencer. Okay, I'll do Aussie dollar, and then I'll be done. Aussie dollar. That's totally me. Yeah, that was me. So, Jasmine, I used to have a rule. I don't have it anymore, but I used to have a one trade Monday rule. As I said, I don't have that anymore, but it was a good thing that I did, because it means that if I did take a trade on a Monday and I lost it, let's say, I'd only be down one trade. So I would say, okay, that's it, done. I'll come back tomorrow. There's always going to be tomorrow. But I understand, trust me, I've been there. I understand how exciting it is, especially when I was at my most dangerous was after a good week. So I always remember it. Like I had an amazing month. I think I took when I blew my massive account, I took my account from $16,000 to $30,000. I had an unbelievable month. And then I got to the Monday, started, you know, I couldn't wait to make more money because I thought I'd cracked it. I'm thinking what's the word? I can't be beaten. The word's gone. I can't remember what it was. And I end up losing 2-3 trades on a Monday, get pissed off, lose another trade, and then bang, that whole 30,000, all that profit was gone very quickly. So I used to be at my most dangerous after a winning run rather than a losing run, because you think you're invincible. That's the word, Ash. Invincible. That's it. So yeah, that's why I used to have one trade Monday rule. Okay, sorry, Ash. Aussie dollar. Again, Aussie dollar, there's an argument there that it could go long. It's had a decent drop. On this Aussie dollar. This can't continue forever. Now, again, fundamentally, if something horrible comes out, you'd expect this to fall to the downside. We can't control that. But from a technical aspect, the smaller time frames, very similar to pound USD, don't look too bad for a little counter trend move to the upside. But again, there's barriers. You know, there's barriers. We look at this daily. A counter trend, a pullback would make sense. I mean, we've just tagged this support area, which is quite significant, because if you think about markets have a memory, okay, we think about what happened last time. So again, people will remember what happened at this area over here and thinking, right, I'm going to buy it here for potentially a reaction like this. So yeah, I don't think Aussie dollar is a bad play to the upside on that pullback strength, but you are going against the grain. You're riding your bike against the wind. Maybe you pull back to the 20, maybe you pull back to this area for movement to the downside. But I don't think as a trading opportunity for Monday, Aussie dollar could be decent. Could be decent. I don't often trade on Mondays until after the US Open. Yeah, it's a good rule. I picked up on that one trade on a Monday. Yeah, good. Unstoppable. I wish I was unstoppable, all right? Yeah, but you do feel like that. I went from unstoppable to depressed. Just lost everything. Oh, God. And do you know what the worst thing was? After I'd made that 16 to 30 grand, I went to Caesar's Palace here in Dubai for like a nice weekend thinking, oh, I've done it now. All this money's going to come. Caesar's Palace for 2 nights. And then it all came crashing down. It just shows you that sometimes I must have had about 10 or 12 of those moments where I thought I've cracked it. And then bang, came massively crashing down to earth. 6 cases in Lanarkshire, unrelated to the English ones, must have been here a while. Okay. We'll see. I don't really want to comment too much on it. Just see what comes out basically in the next coming days once they know more. But touch wood, nothing major. Touch wood, nothing major. But just be aware of uncertainty. And markets do not like it. Don't like it. All right, everyone, I appreciate you coming as always. Remember to drop a like. Remember, another hour of that Black Friday sale. If you want to join, the link is there. Links are down below. We've got 3 mentors, 20 plus years experience. You know all the jargon. I'm not going to go into it, but yeah, click the links if you're interested. If not, I'll see you all on Wednesday. Remember to trade safe. Appreciate that, Rohit, mate. I appreciate that. And yeah, have a nice Monday. Cheers, guys. Peace.